Day 5, letter number 5. Already starting to see similarities. Dear Ethan, I just want to say thank you for coming out and talking with us today. I really got a lot out of it. I can't express to you how good it is to hear about people in your situation and making it. It is really frustrating when you hear about the percentage of people in prison that come back. It is overwhelming to me. When I hear how you did it and how hard it is for a felon to get a job, get a loan, or even find a place to live. You talked about all of these things and even confirmed them. But just seeing and hearing how you made it makes me believe that it is possible for me too. You told us that you had to work hard. You had to work your tail off, but you made it. I really like the 5 keys that you talked about. I wrote them down and I will use them from this day forward. I have heard so many horrible stories about the halfway house and how many rules you have to follow and how hard it is to make it out. You also confirmed this. But like you said, by following the rules and working your butt off, it is possible. Thank you once again, and please keep doing what you're doing. You really make me believe that I can make it. Thank you. Sorry for the mess ups, but when you got so many different cursive and handwriting, it's hard to read, and it's hard to decipher some of these words. But there's so much to take away from this letter. You see, in my workshop, my keynote that I gave to these gentlemen, it was like a 3.5 hour deal. Not only did I do my keynote, but I broke down different things about the halfway house, about ISP, about inmate status, broke down stuff about parole, broke down stuff about the education system, student loans, business loans. I broke down everything, entrepreneurship, and showed them all these different ways that I had used to stay out. Now, each state is different, and the recidivism rates are different, but on average, like states are anywhere between 75 and 85% of inmates go back to prison within the first 3 years, and then it's like 90% for the first 5 years. Some bonkers percentages. And I've been out now for 20 some odd years. I don't even know now. And every day is still a struggle for me. Like I've said over and over, I've got 2 bachelor degrees, 3 minors, a master's degree, all these awards. And 2 years ago, I got bored during Christmas when I had some time off, and I studied to pass the Texas insurance and annuities like bar exam or state exam. I passed it, did everything that I could, and then I come to find out that I couldn't even get a job in that industry if I wanted to pursue it. And my crime was 20 years before that, and I was still facing obstacles. See, what people don't understand too is, like, after my divorce, I had 2 houses. I bought my first house in like 2014. I flipped it, turned it into my second house with my ex-wife. Well, when she kicked me out of the house and I had to go find other places to stay, I don't think anybody realized, like, the first 8 out of 10 places that I called, so it was like 80% of the housing places I tried to get a place to stay, I couldn't live in because I was a felon. And then on top of that, I had 3 dogs at the time. So it was like so difficult to find a place. It took me like 100 places to find a house. And when I did, it was this crummy little place off of Sheridan, which is like almost as bad as Colfax, or Federal, in Denver. So it was some crummy place, but it was all I could find. And I've been out of the system for 20 years at that point. Been a homeowner multiple times, been a speaker, an author, a coach, all this type of stuff, but it doesn't matter. That felony's still on your background. And I'll be the first to say I'm come from a middle class family. I'm white. So I have a little bit easier time until they see that F word. One of my degrees is in finance. And when I found the finance career and path, like, it was one of the coolest things ever. Trading stock and investing and doing all that type of stuff. I wanted to work in the finance industry while I was coaching college basketball. And my professors were awesome. I got 3 interviews with 3 of the top firms, and I did the interviews and I blew the interviews away. They all wanted to hire me. Well, me being totally open about what I am and who I am, I told them that I had a felony on my record, and all 3 of them denied me instantly. I had 2 more interviews that hung up on me on the phone. And that was after they said they wanted to hire me. Then I come to find out, the SEC, publicly traded companies wouldn't hire a felon. And there's some other rules that were in place of I don't know if it was 10 years after your felony's done, you could file paperwork. But that was one of the cruxes in my life that forced me to be a speaker. I didn't want to be a speaker. I still don't want to be a speaker. This is not the job I wanted to do. I wanted to stay in the basketball world. And now that I've spoke for so long, for 13 years, I can't get a job in the basketball world anymore. I don't want to coach high school. That's not where I wanted to be. But I became a speaker because I couldn't get jobs. I had to do entrepreneurship and start my own stuff because I couldn't get the jobs that I wanted. So when this inmate is talking about how scary it is and how I showed him all these things, he doesn't understand, it's 50 times harder than what I said at those workshops, because I was trying to convey that it can be done. I'm even more cynical now. It is so hard. I don't even know if it's worth it sometimes to keep pushing through some of this stuff. I really don't. I'm to the point where it's just, I don't know about life, man. I don't. No matter what you do, how much good in this world you do and save lives, I've got documented proof of saving people's lives, changing entire futures. We're talking millions and millions of dollars that I'm saving these individuals' lives just over the outcome of their lives, from being an addict when they're in middle school through college and into their lives. And I try to put it in financial terms because that's part of my background. $1.25 billion that I know I've saved the economy just from preventing drunk driving deaths. $14.5 million for every drunk driving death. That's what it is. I know I've prevented over 100 of them. Probably more. And yet, no matter how much good I do, none of it matters. People don't care. The people who say they're close to you, they don't care. See, this world is selfish. I hate it. I'm sorry, I do. I hate this world. I've been trying to do good for so long, and it's pointless. Because no matter how much good you do for these people, there's going to be somebody right around the corner that's going to tear them down. That's going to destroy their positivity, that's going to take down their wall that they built up to be happy and positive and do the right thing. Somebody is going to tear it down. And if they don't, and they make it through that first time, great. Well, there's going to be a second, a third, a fourth. I'm not going to lie, after the pandemic, Like, I don't see much hope in this life anymore. I don't. I try to convey as much as I can and tell people all these amazing things. I don't see it anymore. I don't. I probably shouldn't post this, but I don't know how many people make it anymore. It's getting worse. All this AI stuff, all these people. Think about this. Before the pandemic, I was speaking, there were 10 million adults with the co-occurrence of mental health issues and drug and alcohol. It's 60 million. 6 times. 50 more million people are dealing with depression and suicidal ideation because they can't deal with this life. What's that number going to go to when AI starts taking everybody's jobs? All the white collar jobs. Think about all these individuals who have never faced any adversity in their life, and they've been these cubicle positions their entire life. Cush life. They've never faced any obstacles, and guess what happens when they can't get a job? These suicide rates that we think are at an all-time high, they are going to skyrocket. It's going to be 10 times worse than the 1929 stock market crash. People jumping out of buildings. It's going to be 20, 30, 40, 50 times that. And nobody's paying attention. I've read some papers that there's going to be, by 2030, they're projecting a $6 trillion economy based off of just mental health. So all the ones that have the money are going to be taking advantage of the 95, 98% that don't have the money. And they're going to start advertising. Oh, wait, they already have. Turn on the TV, guess what you see? At least half of the commercials are now mental health meds. Why? Because once they get you trapped on those meds, it is for the rest of your life. I don't take any meds. I won't. Because I know it's a trap. They get you on that stuff and you remain on it for the rest of your life because you're dependent. Now they know you are paying $85, $125, $250 a month to pay for your mental health meds because they set up the world to have it like this. Everybody knows after the pandemic, the skyrocketing facts of mental health just destroyed the world. 500% increase in alcohol sales in the month of April, in the first month after the pandemic. I personally think it was all set up. That's probably why it's so hard for me to work with people. Because I see the truth and I tell it. This world's in trouble, man. Just saw a little clip about the education system. If AI takes over the education system, every single person that's ever got a college degree is basically going to be worth nothing. So all those tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars you put into the education system are going to be for naught. That's why I stopped my doctorate. I didn't want to waste another 60, 80 grand because I can go now in a weekend and learn more from a college professor in one weekend with a large language model. I was doing all the research and data that I needed for my class in a matter of 2 hours. What's the point of having a doctoral degree? I don't need any of those doctor PhD individuals tell me I can go get it done now on Perplexity or Google, Gemini, or whatever it is. Now, I will say this, people better check their numbers, because I've done a lot of research. Go to different language models and find out how many people died during the pandemic, and then see how many changed their numbers after you do a couple searches. And then they all start to disappear with different numbers after you research them, and then come back a week later, they're all different. Yeah, we're in trouble. Not that any of my posts matter, because I've been posting now for the last 4 months. I get 30 views. My impressions on LinkedIn are 9 and 10. I've got 4,000 people on my LinkedIn, and I'm getting less than 10 impressions on a post. And I'm talking about things that actually save companies millions of dollars. Millions. I can come into an organization and help your business save millions of dollars. And I get suppressed with only 4 or 5 impressions. And I don't even have a social media following. So the ones that they want to the front are the people that are producing stupid stuff that don't matter. That's why it's so frustrating. That's why I don't like social media at all. Because the majority of the stuff that people are successful, they're just doing stupid stuff. They're just dumbing down the economy. They're just dumbing down humans. Yeah, we're a bunch of goldfish. And it's getting worse. I used to be a good soldier. Pre-pandemic, I could care less about politics. I did whatever I was supposed to do for the US of A. Stood for the flag and the national anthem and did everything I was supposed to do. But after that whole Fauci thing, vaccine thing, I've lost my faith in everything. I've seen videos and documentaries and read articles that, again, I got no faith. I've lost my faith in people, in humanity, in government. Nope, there just went another 0 impressions. This is all because of this letter. He has no idea about the halfway house rules. Those rules are 100 times harder than your parole rules. Halfway houses, you're built to fail. Built to fail. It is intentional. Why? Because every single time you go in and out, the government gets another $35,000, $40,000 because you're an inmate going in and out for taxpayer dollars. All it is it's an ATM. They want you to fail, to go back, recidivate. Why? Because then the taxpayers have to pay for it again, and you go in and you come back out. And that's another $40,000 of cash back into the pocket. Those halfway houses, they're built for you to fail. They want you to go back. You are in a hole the moment that you get out. They tack on your rent the moment that you step foot. And the first 30 days or 60 days, you're not allowed to leave that facility. So you can't find a job. So automatically you're stuck behind your first 30, 60 days plus restitution. And then on top of that, they won't let you work for good companies. So you have to get some crummy job making $12 an hour, and then you don't have enough to make at the end of each week to pay that restitution and pay your first monthly payment. So now it starts to stack up. And then you got all these rules, like you can't cross a line at certain times, you can't use a phone at certain times. I had a $25 an hour job when I got out. They wouldn't let me work for it. I had to work at a landscaping company for $12 an hour. Now, in order to beat it, I had to use my good time the hours that I got for working hard and doing chores at the halfway house, I had to use my good time that was supposed to be for playing hoops or going out with my family. I used my good time, my bonus time, to go work my job at $25 an hour so I could get out of there as fast as possible. So not only was I working 40 hours a week on top of that, I was using every single hour of my good time to add another $25 per hour of my job, because they wouldn't let me work for that full time. I would have been out of that halfway house in a month. Here's one for you. My gym was a country club. Not a country club, but a club. And it served alcohol there because they had a restaurant. And so my good time and then my PT or my exercise time, I would go to the gym. So some days I was doing 2-day workouts to get ready to try to go play ball again when I got out. So I go work my 40 an hour a week job. I go to landscaping, and I couldn't drive and I couldn't do any of that. So I had to bike to my job, and then I couldn't go on streets. So I had to take these bike paths because I couldn't go in areas that the victim's family could possibly be. So I had to go like 3 miles out of my way on my bike every single morning to get to my job. So then I'd come home after work, I'd shower, I'd go to the gym, I'd work out. And then as soon as I went back to the facility, because they had alcohol there, and I understand it, I had to take a breathalyzer. Well, as soon as I took my breathalyzer, I'd sign back out and I'd go back to the gym. And then I'd go do a second workout, come back and take a breathalyzer. I did that every day for that entire 8.5 or 9 months that I was in the halfway house. I calculated at some point, I took like 2,500 breathalyzers and never had one hot. Took like 1,100, 1,200 UAs, BAs during my time, never had a hot. They try to get you to fail. They tried. We'll get into a podcast one time where I start talking about all the illegal stuff they did. Illegally held me for over 1.5 years. My judge breaking not one, but like 4 different rules to keep me locked up. Documented. Supreme Court stuff. Yeah. Built for you to fail. So again, that's the whole point of all this, is I sit here and I give all these hopes to these men to get out and say, hey man, you can't make it. But it is hard. It is so hard. It is so hard. And that's the sad part about it, is what people don't understand. There's a lot of good dudes in prison. There are. They all need a second chance. There's some, don't get wrong, there's 2 or 3% that deserve to be locked up forever. They're bad people. They deserve that. For the most part, most people are good. And if you look at the numbers, like 85% of them are drunk or high at the time of their crime. So the truth is, they're really not that bad of a person, but you put drugs and alcohol in them and people change. I told you, I'm Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You can trust me with bank accounts. You can trust me with anything in this world. But you get me drunk or high and somebody pisses me off, who knows what I'm going to do. But that's the point. Valedictorians. I've seen 4.0 valedictorians come downstairs with their parent, drug and alcohol stuff. Their grades have been slipping. They went from like this perfect kid to all of a sudden they're doing like the worst of the worst. Drugs and alcohol. That's why I didn't do hip hop music when I got released. I couldn't go back into the clubs and be strong enough, because people would have forced me to drink at some point. Now I'm strong enough to admit that I'm not strong enough to say no that many times. So I remove myself from those situations because I don't even want to take that chance. Trust me. I wanted to be in the clubs with my boys. I wanted to be a part of that hip hop scene. Anybody that knows me, that's like my second favorite thing in this world, rap music. But again, I made choices to sacrifice so that I didn't end up going back. But that doesn't matter to anybody. None of it. Because everybody is selfish. I'm selfish. I'm going to do what I need to do to protect me. But everything I've built, it might look like it's about me. 99% of it's not about me. It's about helping other people. Okay, 92%, let's say. 92% of it is built to help other people. So when I come to people about doing investments, they think it's about me just trying to save my butt. They don't have any idea that I'm trying to make other millionaires. But everybody wants to just see it for who I am. If I make $100 million, I want 10 people to be along me. I want them to make 10 million. I'm a point guard. I'm not selfish. I want to dish out dimes. I'll go score 50 if you want me to. I can do that. Not anymore, but I can do that. But my favorite part, I like getting people the ball. I like going to a gym where you got a bunch of scrubs playing against guys that are good, think they're good. And then you take a bunch of scrubs and you beat them because you're giving other guys the ball because they're getting wide open layups because you get double or triple teamed. Sometimes 4 or 5 people looking at you and you drop a dime to some guy that hasn't scored in 2 weeks. See the joy on that guy's face? You know, he's going to go home and brag and be like, I got the winning shot today. 99% of those people in the gym wouldn't pass him the ball. I will.